I think it's called The Weather Finally Doesn't Suck.
Awesome.
Yes. That doesn't mean there's not lots to talk about, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about the warm weather, to be honest. I like the cold and the damp and the miserable. I like the weather that is conducive to fungal growth. That's my jam.
I have my wood stove going currently, so I mean, I live in cooler weather. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are a little late getting started because I was really hoping the Maple Leafs would fucking win for a change and close out a series, but that was too much to ask for.
Indeed,
and good. I'm just glad it's not in overtime, and I'm like sitting here trying to make a show and with my other eyeball watching a TV. You know, that's the best part. So we are live and we're on. Frankie McDonald will be on soon, and we'll start recording. And this week, we got a new radio time slot, so we're on CFBX Kamloops now, 9 p.m. on Mondays. So you can catch the show there. This episode, when it gets finished, will be posted then. So isn't that cool?
That is something.
And then you got us a whole bunch of time slots this week in Victoria on TV and Cowichan Bay.
Indeed. Do we have the link for the live stream up? I need to post that somewhere.
I just shared it now, and I'll put it in the group chats here. So it's in core now.
Okay.
And Frankie did share this to the green room tonight, so we don't know who will show up, but that's okay. We don't have Brandon Hout tonight.
What happened to Brandon?
Do you not read the core group?
Rarely.
That's the news, man. That's the news.
Do. I know. I started that group for that exact reason. However, Frankie posts so rampantly that my notifications just go off constantly.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't understand that you could put all that in the green room group and the core group keep it separate. Anyways, that's okay. So yes, Brandon has got a violent case of venereal disease, and
that's a Brandon thing to do.
I think he's worked 2 hockey games in a row this week, and last night's Brooks Bandits game went overtime. Huey Hooker scored, so it was great. However, then he had to get up and do the morning show for the radio there as well. So poor Brandon has definitely exhausted himself, and he's got to get up first thing in the morning and do it all again. So that is why we are without Brandon Hout tonight. We will have in the final episode Brandon's thunderstorm video and his weekly report. So first of all, this is new today. Special public avalanche warning in effect until the end of Monday, May 1st. So that's something we'll be talking about tonight. The increase in temperatures is expected to destabilize the snowpack. So this is great. It's like you finally get good weather in British Columbia, and with it brings bullshit, basically, right? So,
well, yeah.
Like when we had all the bad weather finally leave yesterday, it had to leave with a big wind that knocked our power out for 6 hours. So it's like, wow, it's finally summer-like outside. I guess we'll have to sit outside because there's nothing to do. So yes, sudden transition from cool wintry conditions in the Alpine to warm temperatures will create dangerous avalanche conditions. The effect of the warm temperature on the existing snowpack structure means that these avalanches will likely be very large and will run to the valley bottoms. Dangerous avalanche conditions exist for all mountainous regions in Western Canada, and the hazard increase with each day of warm air. So regions with persistent and deep persistent slab avalanche problems will be especially problematic. Avalanches potentially involving the full depth of the entire snowpack moving. So warming can also initiate large and destructive cornice falls. Cornices can be destructive by themselves, but can also trigger avalanches down the slope. As backcountry users, including hikers and scramblers, anyone recreating an avalanche area are advised to avoid a wide margin of error during the warming period. Stick to simple, low-angle terrain. Avoid all overhead avalanche hazards. And that's for everywhere. Okay, that's a big Avalanche Canada public statement across the board. So we want to get that word around as much as we can, right? Just on April 15th was the last time snowmobilers died from an avalanche. So
it's definitely an underappreciated threat. Like, you don't tend to think when you're out hiking around in a really snowy area, you're just having a nice winter hike, enjoying the quiet and the brightness and the landscape. It doesn't really occur to you the degree of danger that actually exists in avalanche territory.
to
It's so
me,
quiet. Pardon?
doesn't occur to me.
Doesn't occur to anyone, really. I mean, it's easy to not see it because you don't see
That's
it until it's on top of you, right?
it occurs to me. Trust me.
Well, yeah, but you're a weather guy. But the average person, the average schmo, I mean, like, I hike through the forest around where I live all the time, and it's easy for me to forget the dangers that are in, this really mossy, damp, foresty area. There's all sorts of stuff that can cause injuries and incidents, and it's easy to lose track of that because you get complacent and comfortable. You get distracted by what you're seeing. Nice
High
area.
stream high stream flow advisories now in effect. So watch your kids along streams and stuff. The water is really going to get moving. That will include Upper Fraser, Prince George, Chilocco River, Chichinca River, Salmon, Middle Fraser, Quesnel Williams Lake, Nasco River, West Road, Baker Creek, Cottonwood, San Jose, Southern Interior, Lower Thompson, Salmon River, Okanagan, including Cache Creek and surrounded areas. And of course, Cache Creek is always, ever since that fire, especially in the crosshairs. The strong upper ridge forecasting to build on BC Thursday into the weekend. Temperatures rising above 10 degrees above normal. River conditions in most of the higher terrain across the province, the snowpack is not ripened, and much of the energy associated with the upcoming warming is expected to be absorbed into snow at mid elevations. I got to move myself here into snow.
Why did you mute yourself? Okay.
I somehow muted myself in doing that.
Yeah.
So yes, river responses will be variable across the region. This includes Salmon River, Chichinca. I just said all that. So they're really great.
Put yourself on mute.
Yeah, it's like, well, the government just repeats itself twice, so I'll just mute myself the second time. River levels are rising, expected to rise rapidly. Being near these riverbanks, creeks, and fast-flowing bodies of water is dangerous. So stay clear of the fast-flowing rivers and those unstable riverbanks. And the riverbanks sometimes give away. You go and stand like, oh, look at the river's moving so fast. Let's go have a look. And then the riverbank actually is being eaten underneath. And you go into the water and they find you in Hope.
Water is violent, man. It seeps in, it destabilizes all of the terrain that's holding it together, and it just, again, unseen dangers. It's there, it's everywhere. Nature will kill you if given a chance.
So definitely avoid fishing while drunk, swimming while drunk, boarding while drunk, hiking while drunk near high stream flow rivers. Remember, high stream flow can easily trap strong swimmers, increasing the risk of drowning. So yeah, understand the risk. Here's Frankie McDonald. I think we're back with Frankie. So yeah, okay, I guess we'll just start recording as per usual. And maybe can one of you let everyone else know that we are recording and ready to go? You're ready to go, Frankie?
Yes.
Alrighty, I'm going to hit record and we'll start our show. We're right on time.
Yes.
And I'm going to turn this off to start. No, wait.
What are you turning off? Right?
You. Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg, and good evening, Kamloops, and hello, Victoria and Cowichan Bay. We are growing. We're a growing family here on the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joey Only. I'm your host. I live up in this lodge in Wells, British Columbia, up in a mountain, and we make this show, and people watch it and listen to it. And well, not many people, but it's getting better. That's what it is. And it's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada, and it does generally tend to suck a lot. However, this last couple of days, we've been seeing the weather looking like it's going to improve in BC. In fact, it's going to get improved so much that, well, we can have high stream flows and avalanches and things like that. So yes, I'm growing my playoff beard because I really have hope. And tonight I was once again reminded that hope is futile, but nonetheless, I have the good company of my friends here, the Comedeorologists. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. It's the weather show that we kind of made. Absent from the show this week is Brandon Hauk. He's been making late night hockey broadcasts because his Brooks Bandits have been pushing into overtime and getting up first thing in the morning and running morning radio shows. So we are without Brandon this week, but he's been busy. But we have the regulars. We got Frankie McDonald, who's going to be on here in about 1 minute time. We got Imogen Cookie Bailey down there in Victoria, British Columbia, and we got Hilding Donaldson. And I think we got some more people showing up as we get into the hour. So we never know who's going to be giving their report from across Canada. But first things first, let's get to the man himself. He's the world famous Frankie McDonald down there in Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's the man with 280 something thousand YouTube subscribers, the weatherman that everyone loves the most. Frankie McDonald, how are you doing so far?
I'm doing good so far. Lots of snow showers going on in Wyoming. Then it got some really cold temperatures this weekend coming. And in North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Nebraska, they're bringing snow mountains of Colorado. In parts of New Mexico right now, they're still bringing snow in western Colorado right now in the mountains part. It's going to bring really hot temperatures in Southern California, bringing all the hot weather all the way up to Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle, and Portland, and all these places. It's going to bring lots of thunderstorms and a lot of rain all across the eastern United States this weekend. Like New York City was getting a lot of rain this Saturday coming. It's going to bring a whole lot of heavy rain. New York City, Washington, D.C., Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and all these places. Lots of thunderstorms going on in the eastern United States. Then it got a big storm going to develop in the east coast of the United States. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain next week all across Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Lots of snow in Wisconsin and northwestern Ontario. In New York, it's bringing lots of rain all across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and all these places. It's going to be a big storm all across Boston next week as well. And all across New York City's getting a storm all across Georgia, Florida. Then the guy drives some cooler air all the way down Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. There's a center of low pressure system that's going to be located in Great Lakes region. And this Sunday and the Monday, it's going to bring high winds in Boston, Vermont, New Hampshire, even Montreal, Quebec, where base guy lives in Kingston, Ontario, and all these places. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain all across Ontario as well, including Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and all these places. Lots of snow in northwestern Ontario, even into May. Then the storm is going to stall in Great Lakes region like Ontario, like Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, Timmins, with rain snow mix all across Michigan and those places in the stateside. Lots of rain and thunderstorms all across the states too. And all across, there's lots of rain and thunderstorms going on. Eastern United States this weekend as well. As for South America, lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Venezuela, northern Brazil, including places like in Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and those places in Venezuela and Colombia. They're bringing lots of thunderstorms and rain right now. Really dry weather in Argentina this weekend and next week. It's going to bring a whole lot of stormy wind and rain and snow in southern Chile. Northern Chile is going to be dry to normal temperatures. As right now, in places like in northern Chile, down South America, it's going to bring drier than average temperatures. And in Europe, like England, they're bringing lots of showers up around England, like London, England, Manchester, England, Shrewsbury, England, including Oxford, England, Grimsby, England, Edinburgh, Scotland, Aberdeen, Scotland. And those places, including places like in Dublin, Ireland, and those places going to bring lots of rain and thunder, lots of showers there. Up France is going to bring lots of nice weather in France, like Paris, France, and rain showers and things like this. And up lots of snow showers up around Norway and snow in Norway, Finland, Sweden as well. In northwestern Russia, like in Belarus and Poland, those places could bring colder than average temperatures in Moscow, Russia, and rain and snow and things like this. And Dave in Osaka is still in Japan right now. Dave in Osaka lives in Japan. Lots of warm air and cold weather fighting each other. Lots of storms coming off the coast of Japan right now, like Tokyo, Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Osaka, Japan, those places. Then it got some cold weather heading next week in Sapporo, Haganayo, Japan, including South Korea, North Korea, 5-Yasok, Russia is getting colder than average temperatures this Sunday coming, including lots of thunderstorms and rain, and the dry weather is going to advance in China as well. India is getting really bad heat wave right now, and temperature in India is going to bring really, really hot temperatures and thunderstorms in India because monsoon season starting soon in India. Lots of thunderstorms in Philippines and Indonesia and those places, Thailand, Cambodia, and those places will be starting their rainy season, including Vietnam, Laos, and those countries. They'll be starting their rainy season soon. And the other side of the world, like Laos, Vietnam, and places like this, and other side of the world. In Southern Africa, lots of cold weather in Cape Town, South Africa. In northern South Africa, it's going to bring hotter than average temperatures. Mozambique, Madagascar is getting drier than average temperatures, same as Namibia and things like this. Zimbabwe is going to get in dry season. Zambia is going to get in dry season soon. Lots of thunderstorms in Uganda, Congo, Gabon, and Kenya, and parts of Zimbabwe, and things like this as of right now. And as for Southwest Pacific, like Australia and New Zealand, there's a low pressure system. It's headed towards New Zealand next week. Parts of New Zealand's going, South Island, New Zealand's going to get some rain and things like this. It's fall year there right now. It's still really hot in Australia. In northern Australia, it's getting colder in southern Australia because their winter starts on June 21st, 2023. In the second half of May, North Pole become 24-hour daylight. And up above the Arctic Circle is going to bring 24-hour daylight. Down below Antarctic Circle will be 24-hour darkness, like Amundsen Scott Supple Station and McMurdo Station, Antarctica.
What's the weather doing up in outer space right now, Frankie?
Right now, and lots of asteroids are up in the sky right now. Showing solar flares shooting from the sun as of right now.
Yeah, we had quite the Northern Lights show the other night. I see Hank Vliestra just joined us, so we'll be going to be. I want to sort of break protocol and check on him first because I got you muted, Hank, because you're opening the doors was taking the picture off of Frankie, but you probably have a sunset going on there or something. So I just wanted to. And Brandon Hout got to see all these thunderstorms this week. You had some thunder and lightning in your area, and you saw the Northern Lights in your area.
Yeah, we had a first thunderstorm here in Wilkie, Saskatchewan of the year. So it was awesome. It was, subdued. There was like a couple of lightning strikes and a couple of low rumbles of thunder. And moderate downpour. But, I'll take it. It was a lot of fun to see that come back again for the first time this year. And we also saw a great show of Aurora Borealis on Sunday night here. I was right out here. Look, we still have a pile of snow there. That's not quite melted yet, but it should be done for this weekend. It's going to be like summer here. It's going to be a really warm weekend.
I'm looking forward to it because, as you can see, we still have snowbanks. They've dropped almost to the height of my truck now, though. So that's a remarkable. That's a remarkable drop in the last week, and I think with the very, very warm weather we're going to get. But that's life in Wells, British Columbia. You got to be special to like it here, for sure. Frankie, when do we start? What's going on with this warm weather coming to the west?
It's going to bring really, really warm temperatures in California, Oregon, Washington, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Los Angeles. That's where Trevor Garner lives from the Trevor's Happy Hour in Anaheim, California. Trevor Garner from the Trevor's Happy Hour is getting really, really, really hot weather through Saturday and things like this. And Gary and Dino show in Arizona is getting really, really, really hot weather. So it's Las Vegas, Reno, Carson City, and Utah, and those places. It's going to bring really hot temperatures in Vancouver and Victoria, including Idaho, where Roger the Wild Child used to live. And Oregon, where Brian Smith lives, is going to get really hot weather. It says Medford, Oregon, Slane, Oregon, Uji, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington, Spokane, Washington, Olympia, Washington, Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, Washington, and Bellingham, Washington, and the surrounding areas, including all those other areas in the state of Washington, including Boise, Idaho, those places going to be really hot temperatures. In San Diego, where Mark Grant is, they're getting really hot weather in San Diego, California. And San Francisco, California is going to get really hot temperatures. Same with Sacramento, California, that where Don Germaio's show used to live.
How is our friend Mark Grant's San Diego Padres doing?
He's doing good so far.
Yeah, Mark, who's been on the show before, he's the color commentator for the San Diego Padres. So is this the beginning of the El Nino, the first foray?
It's a transition to El Nino from La Nina. Trevor Garner still does Trevor's Happy Hour, and Trevor Garner lives in Southern California. He's the host of the Trevor's Happy Hour. He's still doing the show and things like this.
Yes, he is. What do you think, Hank? Is it the beginning of the El Nino?
From what I hear, El Nino is probably back and probably kind of strong. I believe so.
I just found it out. The cardboard cutout in Frankie Downs in Seattle, Washington. Right now, Thacker from the Gary Dino Show has it.
Oh, excellent. Do you have any pictures of the cardboard cutout in San Diego, in Seattle?
Thacker has it.
Nice. I wish that thing would come to Wells, BC someday. The life-size Frankie McDonald cardboard cutout. Image Cookie Bailey. So the good news for the show this week is we're on a new radio station. We're on CFBX 92.5 FM every Monday at 9 p.m. So if anyone is listening to the show, we record the show Thursday nights, and it's your weekly show about basically all the top weather stories. So tonight is Thursday, the 27th of April, and you'll be hearing this on the 1st on May Day. So you can't use us as a forecast per se, but more as an overall picture as to what's been happening and what will happen and so forth and so on. So we have new radio time slot and we have new television time slots.
Indeed, we do. In the Greater Victoria area, we are on Shaw Spotlight on Mondays at 7 a.m., Tuesdays at 9 a.m., Wednesdays at 10 p.m., and Friday nights at 11 p.m. as well in the Duncan Cowichan Valley area. We are airing on Mondays at 7 p.m., Wednesdays at 11 a.m., and Friday nights at 6 p.m. We've got 2 different areas and 7 time slots. So this is pretty awesome, actually. I'm really excited about it.
That's a lot of time slots. So really good work, Imogen. Thank you very much for getting on the horse and making that all happen.
And I just found it out in the weekend. It's going to bring chillier than normal temperatures to Maine before a lot of rain headed for Maine and places like this. It's going to bring a lot of heavy rain in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. It's going to bring high winds all across New Jersey and those places. And Gibraltar outside of Spain is going to bring showers and warm temperatures in Gibraltar outside of Spain as well. Lots of wind direction coming from the east. It's going to hit North Carolina, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Delaware, Ocean City, Maryland, including New Jersey, New York, Long Beach, New York, and things like this. It's going to bring a lot of rain all across the eastern United States this weekend, including New York City and those places.
Yeah, sort of the structure of this storm that's coming through is kind of what you would call an inland hurricane, where instead of at the center is warm, it's a cold core, and it's cyclonic. So it's essentially, Ryan Hall was making this point on his YouTube channel.
It's going to bring colder and drier than normal in Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and all these places with windy conditions all the way down parts of Texas.
Right. We got someone named Richard showing up. I wonder if that's our friend Richard Bowen over in Alberta. Oh, no, it's Richard Daniel Tronson. So remember, I was just talking about how we're on CFBX 92.5 FM. I said we were going to be late starting the show, Richard, and then we weren't. So welcome to the Comedeorological Report. So Richard runs a radio show that airs right before our time slot on CFBX. So talk to us about your show, Richard, and welcome to the show. How's the weather in Kamloops?
Well, it's cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon, so it's hard to dress for.
It's going to get a lot hotter too still this weekend.
I feel it. Keep telling me it's getting hotter this weekend, but yeah.
Tell us about your show.
Well, it's called This Microphone Smells, and I like to shine a spotlight on local and touring bands. So if you were to do a show in Kamloops, I'd be talking about it. Yeah.
And who you got on the show this week coming up?
I
Oh,
heard that's going to bring a lot of severe thunderstorms to Dallas, Texas, Friday night. It's going to bring a lot of thunderstorms. And then for the thunderstorms, it's going to bring flooding downpours, large hail, isolated tornadoes, damaging wind gusts 55 to 65 miles per hour. The storm max is 80 miles per hour. That's around tropical storm force winds with gusts.
Hey,
I
Frankie.
saw some pictures of hail that was the size of grapefruits that came down in Texas this week, Frankie.
It was really, really bad, smashing windshields and things like this. Even Western Florida had hail from thunderstorms.
All right. Well, what can happen if a hailstone like that starts falling?
That can smash windshields. Stay away from the window, stay in interior house, and things like this. You might have to head down the basement because sometimes hailstone could go through the roof of the house.
Yeah, one that big, absolutely, right. So that's like grapefruit, and you see them like just these amalgam. They look gnarly, right? So thank goodness we don't have that right now. We just have
Those
really,
kind of giant,
really
hail
dirty
like that,
snowbanks here, Hank. That's all we got.
giant hail like that is a lot rarer than what some people think. 'Cause
Is your hand kind of on your microphone? You're a little bit muted, bud. Like maybe your hand is kind of half on your
Oh, I
mic on the
can't-
phone.
Oh, it might be my tooth. Anyway, can you hear me better?
Is your hand like where you're holding the phone? Is it kind of blocking the mic a little bit? It's the
I
mic
usually
sounds
use
muffled.
So my mic is on my ears.
Oh, I
Um,
see. I see. Okay.
Anyway, is that better?
That is a little bit better, I guess. But now I know that your mic is in your ears. Now I'm not so confused. So we'll cut all that shit out.
Those giant hailstones, it's a lot rarer than what people think because you see the pictures on social media of the craziest hailstones anybody's ever seen, and everybody shares them all over the place. But, like, for instance, I chase storms all over the place every summer, and the largest I've ever seen is ping pong ball size. And that's me going after every storm I can find. That's the largest hailstones I've come across so far. But some of my friends have got bigger baseball and even bigger than baseball type of things, but they're really rare to get.
I was
that
in
big.
Calgary with my band playing during the week of the Stampede in 2010 when the hailstorm hit, and there was some absolutely massive hail. It was incredible. It was like, yeah, it was really big. What's the biggest hailstone you've ever seen, Imogen?
Biggest hailstone, probably only a couple inches. Haven't seen anything too tremendous, but we have gotten, uncharacteristically, we do get the occasional pretty decent storm here. So probably only about a couple inches, maybe golf ball size once.
Biggest hailstone you ever seen, Richard?
Pebble size, nothing big.
Frankie, biggest hailstone you ever seen?
The biggest hailstone somewhere in the coldest USA. They're going to get really big hailstones in New York, too.
And Hilding, because we haven't talked to you at all, we are now going to segue. Hilding, the biggest hailstone you've ever seen, and how you doing this week? How are the cattle?
Oh, things are doing okay here. I have to say that hailstorms are so scattered that if you have hail that is the size of your fist, the neighbor might have hail the size of his little finger. The biggest I've seen has been an inch. I rescued old cars out of people's yards for years, and I've hardly ever found a car that had dents from hailstones. And yet, hailstones bigger than an inch will dent a car. So it must be awfully rare.
Yeah, well, definitely I've seen it in Alberta on more than one occasion. Massive dentings of vehicles. So yes, you're in Grassy Plains, British Columbia there, south of Burns Lake. Spring's finally coming for you.
Yeah, we're finally, I have hardly any snow I can see out my window, but our lake still has ice on. I mean, it's slush, it's not really ice. And the calves are really enjoying it. I took some footage today. I didn't get a chance to send it to you yet. I'll try to get it to you this week. Some pictures of the cows. They look really content. I went out today and leveled off the crap from where we fed them over winter so that the little bits of snow that are underneath it'll melt. And we're hoping to get some green stuff coming through in the next couple of days. So, yeah.
Wow, yeah, we're a little ways away from the green stuff here in Wells. That's unfortunately the truth. But
I
you
think
know
we're
how
a
it
bit
is.
ahead of you.
You know how it is, but still, we might see 20-degree day or something on Saturday, and like, we deserve this. We deserve this. So, okay, the next thing I want to go back towards is something we talked about in the pre-show, and here it is. Special public avalanche warning. So this is because of how warm it's getting in British Columbia this weekend. There's going to be a dramatic increase in temperatures, which will destabilize the snowpack across Western Canada. So if you know people who are going to go out snowmobiling and skiing and hiking and things, make sure that they've checked with Avalanche Canada and seen that you should not do that. Destructive and dangerous avalanches are the threat, right? So, and these are some of the springtime ones that you've seen in videos before where they just run and run and run and everything comes off the mountain and everything goes all the way down the valley floor, right? The sudden transition from cool wintry conditions in the Alpine to warm temperatures will create really bad avalanche conditions. It'll get hot and this existing snowpack structure, because of the way it is, it means these avalanches will likely be very large. They'll go right to the valley bottom, just like Joey just said. Dangerous avalanche conditions are for all mountainous regions in Western Canada. The hazard increases with each day that it's warm. If there's been persistent and deep slab avalanche problems in your area with problematic, it'll be especially problematic avalanches potentially involving the full depth of the snowpack. Everything coming off at once in that run, right? So warming can initiate large and destructive cornice falls. Cornices can be destructive by themselves, but also act as a trigger for destructive, deep, persistent avalanches. So everybody in the backcountry, all hikers and scramblers and everybody, all tourists and everybody recreating in avalanche terrain, and just be smart. Don't go out there at all. And this is for everywhere, right? This is not for, and we've already, we still had an avalanche death, not April 15th. So we're not out of the season, right? And don't be the last one, right? Don't be the last one. So the other thing that's going on, I didn't mean to click off that. So give me a second here and I'll set myself back up. But we finally have our high stream flow advisories.
I'll be careful, Joey. I'll be careful about the avalanches.
What's that,
I'll
Hank?
be careful.
Yeah, you be careful, because even in Saskatchewan, and that little pile you had there, that little pile near your feet, look out.
Okay.
So when that thing gets moving, man, it's real bad. So flood warnings and advisories in British Columbia. The BC River Forecast Center, it's issuing high stream flow advisories for Upper Fraser around Prince George, Chilliwack, Chichinka, Salmon, surrounding rivers, Middle Fraser watershed. That includes Quesnel Williams Lake as well, Nasco River, West Road, Baker Creek, Cottonwood, San Jose, and all the tributaries, South Interior, including Lower Thompson, Salmon River, and Okanagan, including Cache Creek and surrounding areas. So this strong upper ridge that's beginning here today on Thursday and will go in the weekend. Temperatures will rise well above plus 10 degrees above normal, right? 23 degrees and even in northern areas, 27 in the Okanagan. So, who will hit 31st? Somebody. A low pressure system may return some precipitation to the region next week. So, and most of the higher elevation terrain across the province, the snowpack's not ripened, but it may with the sharp rises in snowfall rates this weekend. And here's all the river names I just read already again. So if you didn't read them the first time, there they are again. So stay clear of fast flowing rivers and potentially unstable riverbanks. You go and stand and look at the pretty river. It's really moving fast. You stand on the riverbank and the river has been cutting underneath the bank. And then finally your weight on it is enough and you just slip off into the water and no one ever sees from you again. So don't do that.
And we have to remember that rivers rise over a period of time. So we might have a hot day and it might be 3 days later that the river all of a sudden rises by 10 feet in 2 hours. That's the kind of phenomenon that catches people this time of year.
Well, it'll rise really fast if you get a heavy rain somewhere too, which luckily we won't have. But yes, things can rise pretty quickly. So certainly you could have your pops sitting in the gravel of the riverbank while you're fishing, and then you look back and they're gone and you're up to your knees suddenly. Remember, high stream flows can trap strong swimmers. That increases the risk of drowning. Did you know that on average 75 people drown in British Columbia every summer? Everyone's scared of bears. Like one person gets killed by a bear every 3 years, but no one's out there being like, oh my goodness, drowning, like, come on, people. Avalanches kill 10 or 15 people a year. These are, the threats that will probably kill you more often than not, but everyone's worried about the animals because animals have a brain. That's the only reason they're scared of them, I guess. So avoid fishing and swimming and boating, avoid, putting your children in little baskets and pushing them off and all that kind of stuff.
They're more likely to die driving to the woods than they are to get killed by a bear while in the woods. You know what I mean?
To be fair, we do not have any statistical data regarding carjackings at the hands of bears. So that may be a threat that is just underreported. Something to be aware of.
Doubtful. River levels are expected to rise. That's a high stream flow advisory. What does that mean? It means no major flooding is expected, but the fast flowing bodies of water, the water will be moving really fast, and a creek that you may normally go into will be your death.
The danger we have at this time of year in Saskatchewan is grass fires. As you can see, we have all this dry grass right now, and it can catch fire, and especially on a windy day. And the reason why it catches fire on a windy day is power lines will come down in the wind, and they'll start the grass on fire, and then the wind will cause the fire to spread. And so that's what we have to watch out for. It's not raging rivers really in this part of Saskatchewan. It's grass fires and people starting bonfires on days that they shouldn't, and then it ends up spreading. Sometimes farmers like to clear their land and they decide to burn the refuse, the trees that they've cleared, put it all in a pile, and they sometimes take a poor day to burn it. So that can sometimes cause a grass fire or a bush fire too. That's what we got going on sometimes this time of year here. Not only the threat, as soon as it greens up in 3 weeks, that threat is dissipated greatly.
I'm just looking for something here. Okay. It takes me a second to set things up sometimes. So this is, this place, don't you?
Yep.
Someone got a guess.
Kamloops.
That's Riverside Park in Kamloops. Now, what do you notice about the water levels?
Quite low right now.
They're very low, aren't they? I made a video this week on my channel talking about how low the water is. You ever go hang out at Riverside Park?
Not in a while. But I know you can walk out to Rabbit Island. It's this little island off of North Shore. And the water was low enough that you could walk out there. But in the last week or so, it's actually gotten higher. Yeah, so
And
not
it will start
as
coming
well.
up. It will start coming up, but it doesn't look like flooding is really your risk. But there's a nice sunset in Kamloops. Thank you, Tourism Kamloops. Isn't that lovely? So remember this webcam, because this is an area when there's thunderstorms in Kamloops, this is often the place to look. So, when they're north of you, right? So this is a good webcam to keep on hand if you like watching storms around the province sometimes. And it's a live stream because look, you can see people the other day, there's a woman there, and the other day was a tractor. It was going around circles doing tractor things, and that was nice. Riverside Park.
Yep.
So, Comedeorological Report, halfway through, listening to us on CFR, CFBX, CKUW, Shaw Spotlight, and on Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. I think we've gone through kind of the there's the cat. I think we've gone through the beginning half of the show. Who's got something they want to bring up this week?
What river was that, Joey? Riverside Park. What river was that?
That's the Thompson River. That's where the two Thompson rivers
North and
merge.
South Thompson River, yeah.
So that's a nice park you can go and park in, and there's always lots of dogs there, and beautiful people. And
Well, you're talking about drowning risks. That area right there where the two rivers meet is a high risk swimming area.
right,
Yeah.
it must be like quite a current because of the two of them together.
Yeah.
So a former manager of Department of Defense says UFOs are real. So something extraordinary was revealed today. High-level officials and scientists with deep Black experience have. This is from the Huff Post. Okay.
Well, that's reputable.
Yeah.
I mean, I like aliens. I'm always in favor of anything that confirms the existence of aliens. But when it comes from HuffPo, I will not comment on the air.
Well, a 25-year veteran of the CIA's Directorate of Operations and Lockheed Martin Program Director for Advanced System at Skunk Works, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence are part of this. Official, so I don't know. This could represent the beginning of a trend towards new openness on the part of the U.S. government.
Oh, we've had that for ages. There's always been whistleblowers and there's always been high-level people speaking out. And then it's, there's the back and forth of, X-Files type stuff of, oh no, they're not allowed to say that. And that's classified data and it's debunked and discredited and proven. And we know aliens are real. Besides, NASA just said that NASA's Department for Near-Earth Studies has said that an asteroid approximately the size of the Eiffel Tower buzzed by Earth on April 26th. So just very recently, a huge-ass asteroid just went whipping by us.
Hey, you got to reframe that without saying ass.
I'm the one editing for TV. I'll censor it myself. So a huge asteroid just went whipping by Earth. And I like to think it's infested with aliens, crawling with all sorts of face huggers and body snatchers, pod people. Oh man, the possibilities. I mean, it's only the size of the Eiffel Tower, so it's not tremendous, but alien infested.
No one in the universe is interested in us, but maybe humans from the future are.
Okay,
Greece is going to let people bring pets into 120 archaeological sites. So if you're hanging around the Acropolis, for now on, watch out for dog doo-doo and things like that. Dwarf bullfighting has been banned in Spain.
So are you fighting dwarf bulls or is it dwarves fighting bulls?
Apparently, it's Spain's parliament. They banned comic bullfighting events featuring dwarves dressed in costumes in a decision applauded by disability rights groups, but condemned by the few surviving performers. Now they have no jobs.
Why would it be banned? Like, if they're banning bullfighting clear across the board on the basis of it being an animal cruelty issue, I understand that. But if they're banning it for a specific demographic of people who sign up and train and participate in it, accepting their own risk, then that just seems extremely discriminatory. No one's forcing anyone to sign up for it. I'm confused.
Here.
Yeah, is there any
Agree with
statement
that.
on? Yeah, is there any statement on why it was banned? Any explanation given?
I don't want to read that far. I just want to keep going through headlines.
Oh, okay. Keep reading Google.
Like, come on, you guys. No one else has anything.
Well,
Now, you
let's.
want me to be an expert? I'm just like pulling stuff
Well-
out of the air, trying to have a show here. You're like, don't you know everything, Joey? Like, no, I'm just trying to make conversation. I'm
Well,
doing the
I
best
mean-
I can.
Well, I
I
had,
just thought
had
of
an
handling my friend out
interesting
there.
one today, or yesterday. We had actually the past 3 days, we've had the biggest flocks of geese that I've seen around, flying around trying to find a lake with open water on, which is kind of unusual. Usually that by the time the geese come through, there's open water. So I don't know if it's a strange year for that or what it is, but I've never seen low-flying flocks of geese just making circles like this as much as they are this year.
So many bodies of water still frozen, and that's definitely going to be the case for quite a while here in Wells. We got a while
Yeah.
before our water thaws out. Courts in Germany have ruled that just because your landlord is naked does not mean that you should. It doesn't justify demanding lower rent.
That is very specific, and I can only imagine the complaint that led to it.
It was a case involving a building in an upmarket residential district in Frankfurt. It had an office floor rented by a human resources company. The company withheld rent because it objected, among other things, to the landlord's naked sunbathing. In response, the landlord sued. The
Good.
Frankfurt court rejected the company's reasoning. The usability of the rented property was not impaired by the plaintiff sunning himself naked in the courtyard. I mean, this is
That
messed
is
up.
reaching. That is
Really?
reaching, grasping at wieners for a lower rent.
Yeah.
And judges ruled against appeal.
Sweet. They should. It's a stupid complaint. There's no basis for demanding lower rent. Now, if your landlord is behaving in a pointedly obscene fashion, we'll say, that might be a little different. That'd be more of a harassment issue. But if it's simply that this is a guy who's sunbathing in an area where he's allowed to sunbathe, then you're just trying for something, and it's not going to work. And it didn't.
So Jeremy Hansen, who made violent anti-LGBTQ related threats against a dictionary publisher, Merriam-Webster Incorporated, over its updated gender definitions, he was sentenced to 1 year in prison. That showed him.
Updated gender definitions. This is
Yeah,
where
you go to jail
this is
for.
where someone tried it in
You
a
can't
really
handle that people are doing whatever they whatever. Okay, guy's in jail. He deserves it. One of Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos was killed in a highway collision in Colombia. So these animals have been wreaking havoc on the environment. A hippopotamus. It's descended from animals. These hippos. These are second, third generation hippos that the late drug king Pablo Escobar had. So this hippo died in a collision with an SUV on a highway near Escobar's hacienda. There are now more than 100 of them. There's no natural predators in Colombia. Well, of course there isn't. I mean, hippos are terrifying.
Some
If they're high
say
on
those
cocaine.
hippos are actually doing good for the environment down there, but others say different. I only read one little article about it. I'm not an expert. I'm just repeating what other people said. Those hippos in, what is it, Colombia? Yeah, that really happened. That was weird.
Yeah, Escobar had imported hippos. It might have been the hippos or another one of the animals that he had imported that in their natural area had effectively become extinct, but his pets, his creatures were they're the only remaining survivors of the species, which is kind of interesting. And it was the natural environment their natural environment versus where he imported them to was similar enough that they were actually thriving. So he actually ended up saving a species. Obviously, this was not the intent, but it was a nice happy accident. It was a cool byproduct that happened.
You got a feral hog problem in Saskatchewan. Look out, because they got feral hippos in Colombia. So here's another weird one. German border officials near Belgian border have under a ton of unrefrigerated fish. They found a container of cooked bats. Cooked, and these are like bats, like and they look like bat jerky in the picture. I don't know if I can show you the picture, but if you can imagine bat jerky. So why would anybody be making bat jerky?
Well, would it be under fish?
Really? So my advice is to not eat bat jerky.
Or unrefrigerated fish?
So a man in York County, Pennsylvania was arrested Tuesday. He led officers on 2 separate vehicle chases that went through 2 counties. It began on Tuesday when state troopers saw his BMW had a Florida plate. They questioned the driver. Tony Saunders was his name, right? So they could see that the items from Saunders was driving that appeared to be from a nearby convenience store where a theft had been reported. Although Saunders reported that he got the items at a junkyard. There was also a dog in the vehicle and a dead deer in the trunk. Saunders allegedly drove away when the troopers asked him to exit the vehicle and turned off his headlights to avoid detection. And later that morning, they noticed a school bus had been stolen in Abbottstown. So police officers eventually got the bus pulled over, and he abandoned the bus and ran away, but he was using the bus to carry his dead deer. So he stole a school bus, and so he was on a police chase with a dead deer in a school bus.
Oh dear.
So that's what I got this week. Who's got something better?
Not me.
I still can't.
In Saskatchewan, there is no hippos.
No, but those feral hogs.
Yeah, hogs on the loose. Wild boars. I haven't seen them. You know, they make a big deal out of them, and I've driven around a lot, and I have not ever seen them. But the problem is, they keep reproducing and getting larger number, and they're causing some real problems for eating crops and stuff in certain areas. I saw a map one time, and for some reason, they're mostly where the woods meet the prairie. And so my area is more all prairie, not very much woods. So that's probably part of the reason I haven't seen them. But I get up there where the woods meet the prairie, several times each summer. And I haven't seen them up there yet, but they maybe move around a lot more at night, I don't know. But they're out there. They're causing
thousands
problems.
of little blue creatures named Valela washing up on the shore of Florida. They're these little blue, neat creatures. And so I don't even know what they are. They're a couple inches long, and they vary in striking shades of cobalt and baby blue. So look this up. They have a similar build to jellyfish, but have a small sail protruding from their bell. And they migrate around, and there's apparently millions of them. They completely rely on the wind and ocean currents to move around. When the conditions are just right, with recent storms, they get pushed ashore. Other world weather news: Spain is sweltering in temperatures typical of summer right now. The Mississippi River is flooding. It's prompting evacuations and sandbagging. Yes, Frankie?
Not only Spain, but Gibraltar. Just so to Spain, that's a British territory. They're getting a really hot weather too in Gibraltar, in British territory, so to Spain.
The Mississippi River is flooding. That's prompting evacuations and sandbagging and things like that.
That's not good. That means cost a lot of flooding. That can damage properties, that can damage crops and things like this in farms.
There was severe storms in Florida that brought wind, a river of ice, some people said.
Hailstones.
Yes. Flood threat prompts rare closure of Yosemite Valley in California. So Yosemite Valley is closed from flood threat. There was a severe solar storm dazzling auroras that people could see all the way to Oklahoma. Hank Leistra seen it. It was raining all night here in Wells like it often does. Didn't see a thing.
Not only Oklahoma, there's pictures of very clear aurora borealis in the distance from Arizona on Sunday. That was crazy.
That is great rare. California communities are bracing for flooding, which is funny after years of water levels being so low there that we've been quite worried about. You know what I'm saying? But most of the drought conditions in the States now have moved to sort of the low central plains, right? Texas, Oklahoma, and things like that. Anybody got something?
Frankie's got something.
And it's really, really bad in California because California had so much rain in winter, a lot of snow up in the mountains of California too.
On April 13th, a rare fireball flew over Maine. There's a $25,000 reward. Maine Mineral and Gem Museum is looking for meteorites from a rare fireball event that happened near the Maine-Canadian border. They will pay anyone who can find pieces of this.
My uncle was involved with a group of guys that were going around and looking at satellite maps and finding places that looked like craters and going out with Geiger counters and finding out whether or not there was meteorites buried under the ground. And I guess there's millions of dollars worth of research that goes into meteorology. I mean, meteorite finds. If you can find a meteorite that's sunk in your field, you can make millions on it.
There's a woman named Kathleen Karate. She's a newly appointed New York City rat czar. She holds a position aiming to address the swelling rat population of New York. She's a former elementary school teacher, so she's got lots of experience with little rats and not a rodentologist, so she's perfect for the job. But she says her unique experiences help her qualify her for an official role. She gets $155,000 a year for essentially not knowing much about rats. While working for the Department of Education's Office of Sustainability, she developed the Zero Waste Schools program. So that's a pretty awesome program. So maybe she could think about something besides, maybe she does know about rats. I don't know. What's the big deal? They're nasty. That's what the big deal is. Can you imagine? I love living in a place that has no rats. Wells, we got no rats. We got no fleas. We got no ticks. You wonder why I like living where it's snowy a lot? They're going to spend $3.5 million on the Harlem Rat Mitigation Zone. So look out, you dirty rats.
Apparently they haven't read Homer Price yet.
Hey, you know how we were talking about more likely to get injured driving to the woods than while you're doing your adventures in the woods? There's a similar one that came up recently where Storm Chaser was making the same point about storm chasing. I tend to agree with him. It maybe depends on your storm chasing style, but he says the most dangerous part of a storm chase is all the driving, and I would agree. And what happened to him one time is on the way between two different storms at night, they're driving down this highway And it's middle of nowhere. They haven't even seen a vehicle come in the opposite direction. And they're flying along too fast. And they're not unfamiliar with the road network in that area. And it had the weirdest intersection. And neither him nor the driver noticed there was a stop sign in the middle of a straightaway. And they flew through this stop sign, and there was a vehicle going the other direction that was going around a curve. It was coming towards them, but the road had a strange intersection where the road that's coming towards them, you could either curve to the one way or go straight. And they had a stop sign. They're supposed to stop and wait and see if the people are going around the curve or not. They crashed right into this vehicle going the opposite direction, luckily not head on, kind of hit the rear end of the vehicle as it was passing them. And, stuff like that.
Well, people get this sense of importance and sense of entitlement too. And I see that with firefighting crews heading to fires. We're important. We're going. We got to get there. And no, you're not. Slow down.
We haven't had that trouble with people going for the ferry in this area.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. And then, of course, in any town where the general store closes at 6 p.m., everyone's rushing to get to the Jack in time. A new study has shown that global warming is great for baseball. Can anyone guess why this is?
It's global climate change, not global warming. Global climate change, other areas to get a lot of snow that never had before.
Well, why would climate change be good for baseball?
Because they can get warmer temperatures and things like this.
Yes, the air being made thinner by warmer conditions. So says a study by the American Meteorological Society. Since from 2010 to 2019, they account for a 1% increase in home runs due to warmer weather conditions. That small share is expected to grow to 10% by the year 2100. So look out, home run records. Just got to wait a few years. And they're moving the fences in on the corners in all the parks, like in Toronto. So they're just that much easier to hit if you pull the ball down the line. And climate change is good for baseball.
In the year 2031, the International Space Station is going to crash in the Earth. You have to take time to evacuate the entire space station. Cargo comes first and people after that.
Baseball commentator and Tim McCarver said on live television in April 2012, I think ultimately it'll be proven that the air is thinner now, that there have been climatic changes over the last 50 years in the world. I think that's one of the reasons balls are carrying much better now than I remember. The ball that Ramirez hit out, the ball that Freese hit out, I don't think either one was going to be a home run, but they made it. That observation did not play well with viewers. He got savaged for it. He was mocked. This can't possibly be climate change. There you go. So says science. They looked at home runs from 114,417 Major League Baseball games over 60 years combined with temperature data, weather data. They look specifically at days that were unseasonably warm and cold for the time of year. Instead of saying, is it warm or cold, we say, is it unseasonably warm for that location at that time? This is a question that it's independent of other potentially confounding factors. What's the bat made of and things like this?
What about humidity?
Humidity might knock it down some, but if you're in Colorado, we all know the ball flies out of there places where it's not humid. So we're pretty much to the end of the show already this week. And that's great. We have the Comedeorological Report. We've had a whole bunch of people on. We've had Richard Daniel Tronson from just check in one more time and say a few things about your show before you go, Richard.
Yeah. I'm Richard from Kamloops. I am part of CFBX, a show called The Saxophone Smells on Monday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. just before the Comedeorological Report from Wells there. I like to talk about music. I like to play music. I like to go to as many concerts as possible and talk about them on my show. Yeah,
man. Well, anytime you want to pop in with us, feel free to be part of the family. So it's the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joey Olney, and Frankie McDonald's the main man. Frankie, how does everyone find you out there in the whole wide world of the internet?
If you want to find me, my Twitter is @FrankieMacD. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD984. My TikTok is FrankDell984. My Clapper is FrankDell984. My Twitch is FrankDell984. My Snapchat is Frankie MACDON. And my LinkedIn's Frankie McDonald. And my YouTube channel is Dogs Wolves. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie Down. You're listening to Joey Only Show every Thursday night. Caribou Weather, do comedian plus meteorology. All you guys who see me on Base Guys Show at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, and 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday, April 28, 2023. All you guys will see me on Base Guy Show.
I'm Joey Only here. You can find this show and all the rest of the episodes, all 106 episodes now of the show, right here on Caribou Weather Dude, Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube, and plus my weather forecast and things like that. Hilding Donaldson out there in Grassy Plains, Hank Fleischer returning once again from Wilkie, Saskatchewan, Richard Daniel Tronson down in Kamloops, Imogen Cookie Bailey in Victoria. That's our show for this week, everybody. No Brandon Houck this week. It was kind of weird, eh?
Yeah. But you say you have a report from him to throw onto the completed show, huh?
Yeah, but you guys miss him though, right?
Oh yeah. I love having him on there.
I'd say I miss him, but I talk to him all the time.
One out of 6 gets an oh yeah. Frankie, you miss Brandon, right?
I miss Brandon. Brandon will return next week if it's a game possible.
Frankie, I hope you had a good 39th birthday this week. What did you get?
I had a great 39th birthday. I had ice cream cake. Last Saturday, I had Chinese food for my birthday.
Excellent. Did you have chicken balls?
Chicken balls, rice, egg roll, sugai. I am 39 years old right now.
Excellent. And I'm Joey Only. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for coming on by.
The recording has stopped.
How many people is watching me on Shot Spotlight TV so far?
I don't know. But hopefully they're starting to tune in. But what's good though, Frankie, is that each episode is getting played like 5 or 6 times.
Yes.
So,
there's people starting to watching it.
So, I mean, that's good. And at different times a day too, right? So that means the chance of it getting actually just watched by casual people is considerably higher. Because let's be honest, most people in Victoria, and you're going to tune in and see a guy with a terrible playoff beard. and a dirty interior tree falling shirt there. Kamloops represent.
Is there someone watching me on TV on Shot Spotlight TV?
They are, Frankie. So we aired this week on Victoria and in Cowichan Bay now. So every episode, so the first episodes they aired the Chaser Con Comedeorology one with the Storm Chaser Con convention people, right? They aired that. So that's the one they chose for pilot. And the second one they're choosing for a pilot is the first one of Hank Fleistra. Mm-hmm. And then once those 2 pilots cycle, then they'll start apparently making it weekly.
Frankie, you've been really busy with all these podcasts and YouTube shows and radio shows and everything. Wow.
And compound media related podcasts.
We were on Kins and Klomp this week, eh, Frankie?
Yes.
Talk to everyone about who's Kins and Klomp. Tell them.
Kins and Klomp is Jamie Klump is a co-host of Kins and Klomp podcast there in Livingston, Timmins, Ontario.
So I don't know how many people have actually been watching the live stream tonight, but Shelly Selinsky, she is here. Best of life, folks. Thanks for the laughs and stuff like that.
Brandon was on Kins and Klomp podcast this week.
Yeah, it was you, me, and Brandon, and that was a lot of fun. And I always love when the 3 of us show up and just nail it. And I didn't want to talk so much. They kept asking me a lot of questions, Frankie. Sorry, I felt like I took over your segment. They're like freaked out. They're like, "You live in the mountains, man."
Because Jamie Klump and Kins and Klump is there the host.
Yeah, they wanted to know all about life in the mountains. It was funny. So it became like me talking a lot. Anyone got a story this week? No one's got a story?
What was that? A story? No.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Hey, but your police it was a good ending to the game anyway. It was fun to watch at the end, but man, wasn't it only not very long ago that the Leafs had a 3-1 lead against Boston, and then they lost the next two games, and in the
No, it
seventh
wasn't
game of that,
Boston. They
No?
no, it was Montreal was the team they had a
Oh.
3-1 lead on. Boston was who we were winning in the seventh game
yeah,
and blew the 4-1 lead, which we just did to
yeah,
Tampa.
4-1 lead.
Complete reverse the other day. I mean, so I don't know what it takes to beat this Tampa Bay team. They're very good. And for 3 games, they have pushed with everything they've had. And you knew they weren't going to go down easy tonight. So
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't, the Oilers against the friggin' Los Angeles Kings, who like scraped into the playoffs at the bottom because they're in a division with the Coyotes and the fucking Ducks. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Edmonton's playing this bullshit team and they can't put them away. No, this is the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? These guys have gone to the Cup final 4 out of 8 years. They've won 3 of those cups. They fucking know how to win. They're tough. They're mean. They don't, do I think my Leafs are going to beat them? I sure hope so. Does it scare me that they didn't tonight? Yeah, but am I surprised? No.
Yeah, I want to see the Leafs win and go into the second round for the first time in forever, right?
19 years. I was a young man back then.
It's not like the Leafs are my favorite team, but I cheer for all the Canadian teams. I'm a Flames fan, but I cheer for the Oilers too. So I'm weird that way. I do like to watch the Oilers do well. I used to be an Oilers fan when I was a kid. So yeah. I like
kind of got that when I was in
teams.
Alberta. I was like happy to watch either team quite a bit, and then people were like, "Well, you can't cheer for both."
Yes. Oh,
Okay, look at this. Saturday, 11 a.m., 21 degrees at noon in Williams Lake, 21 in Vernon. What's this? Oh, 24, 23, 100 Mile House, 22, Kamloops, Salmon Arm. Oh, and well, what are we going to be here in Wells? 14. That's crazy. Look at 20. Oh my God. 26. We got to go to town on Saturday. It's only going to be 12 here.
The water levels in your river will be rising.
It's only going to be 12 degrees here, but you'll get a sunburn twice as bad as you will in Quesnel. That's the irony of the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we got here? Sunday, 1 p.m. Kamloops, 27. What the fuck? Vernon, 27.
Wow.
Dudes. Oh, man. We deserve this. Like Leaf fans deserve a series win. I think that's all I got this week because I need to eat something now and I need to have and drink some water and accept this losing day, which we had a victory. I've had a lot of victories in my life going on actually lately. So, I'm like, I was kind of surprised the Leafs won just because I felt like I've been on kind of a hot roll, especially like the way the Leafs have come back and won the last couple of games. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how things are going in my life right now.
Yeah.
It's like I was waiting. I've been trying to buy a car, and then finally, like last night.
Weather-wise, I was excited about this week here in Wilkie. I was just mostly focused in on the temperature, right? Like everybody gets, even me, who knows it's way more than just temperature, but I still look at that first. Anyway, it looked great. And then the skies have been like gloomy all week. Not tonight. You see, it looked nice tonight, but all day long today, just gloomy out there and windy and cool. And yeah, so sometimes the forecast, when you focus in on the temperature, looks great, and then it turns out to be a lot less great than you think. Especially winter time in Saskatchewan, where anytime it warms up, it seems to get windy at the same time. And in the winter, it can be so cold when it's windy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes the prairies suck.
What's the cat's name?
That's Meowie. Meowie's a very good boy.
Meow?
Meowie.
Meowie?
Yeah, Meowie.
That's
Meowie. He heard me
a
talking
great
about him.
name. I
Wanna
don't
see
like naming pets by human names. I don't like that because next thing you know, you've got a human in your house by that name and you're saying, Dale, get off of there. And meanwhile, Dale's staring at you going, what?
Yeah.
Here's the part of the night where watch this. End the show with on a good note. Here, give me a second. I gotta switch channels. Wait, Meowie, don't run away. What am I doing? Oh, I just totally bored my cat. Remember how and I got this thing in the okay, never mind. I thought I was gonna have
Now you have a mouse running across the screen and the cat starts jumping at it.
yeah, he loves this stuff.
Yeah.
Watch this. He'll even as soon as he hears it. Meowie. Meowie. What's this? There he is.
Yeah.
Very nice. Are the Oilers playing tonight?
He likes to watch TV. So we'll leave you with that.
Have a good one.
Meowie, the television watching cat. Oh no, wait, am I doing it right? Yeah, okay,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to sign out, you guys. Nice to talk to you.
Okay, we'll see you all next week, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for coming on the show, everybody. And make sure you hit subscribe and like and share and tell your friends. And there's Meowie looking at himself on TV. So that's freaking him right out. He's looking at himself.